From the far reaches of the Milky Way galaxy, it's Retro Nerd Girl with a film review for you. Today, I'll be reviewing the movie Battle of the Worlds, released in 1961, starring Claude Rains and Bill Carter. Directed by Antonio Margheriti, aka Anthony Dawson. The genre is sci-fi. My rating is a 5.1. Synopsis to this movie: a planet the outsider looks as if it's on a collision course with Earth, but then it stops short of hitting the planet and begins orbiting us. All would be fine except Earth sends spaceships to investigate it, and that is when the outsider becomes a real threat to planet Earth, attacking us. The main character that drives the story is Professor Benson, who seems to know everything about astronomy and understands how to deal with the outsider. Lesser characters are the lovers, Dr. Fred Steele and Eve Barrett, who work at the space station that is central to this story. Eve adores Professor Benson, and he is her mentor, which is putting a strain on her relationship with Fred. There are lots of other smaller characters, like Mrs. Collins, who is a mix between a coffee maid and a temptress. And then there is a Commander Robert Cole and his wife Kathy, who end up being a very important part of the story by the end of the film. I have to say, I really didn't enjoy this movie. I am a big lover of old sci-fi movies, but this one unfortunately is so boring, it just didn't work for me. There are hints of really good ideas in the story, but it doesn't have cohesive glue that would have kept my interest. With an hour and 24 minutes, it still drags. This movie could have been edited down to 15 minutes and it would have been a very exciting movie. The story has great ideas but bad execution. Within the serious threat of the Earth being in danger, there are these strange sections of characters flirting with each other, which didn't make sense. Every once in a while there was like a genius line or two, but nothing memorable enough, I'm afraid. The challenge would be the outsider, and the outsider is an alien civilization that you don't actually get to see until the end. It's a very poor quality vision that you see. You don't actually get to see them fleshed out. It's very ambiguous, and you really don't know what you're looking at. So with that, the threat isn't really that great, and you don't actually get to feel any actual fear. Empathy, I'm still not sure who I'm supposed to be sympathetic to. None of the characters really entice me enough to care what happens to them. I mean, people are dying in the story, and I really don't feel anything. There's no drama that's related to the threat that's strong enough to make me curious about what's going to happen next, unfortunately. The technical aspects. The editing was kind of all over the place, and some of the action was just too fast, or there were just a lot of moments that were drawn out to extend the time of the film. And the combination just ends up being too weird to remember what's happening. The performances. Well, this is actually where this film shines. Now, the film says that it stars Claude Rains and Bill Carter. And Claude Rains is an old-time actor that's been in a lot of old movies, and his performance is really good. It's about the best thing about the film. They really milk every moment that he's on screen. It's almost like they didn't want to cut out any of his acting at all, even if it didn't make sense. But then you can tell that they were also trying to wedge in a love story between Dr. Fred Steele, played by Umberto Orsini, and Eve Barrett, played by Maya Brent. Their performances are muted by American voiceover acting, and you can clearly see that all of the actors are actually speaking in English, which is kind of frustrating because you can tell that somewhere in there is a real performance with their actual accents. Unfortunately, this is kind of an industry standard for the time. There are certain films that are done in other languages that need to be dubbed over. But if it's an if everyone's speaking English, I don't see what the point was to do the dub over. They just didn't believe that American audiences would accept Italian accents at that time. Also, one of the stars of the movie is the American actor Bill Carter, and and he was also meant to draw in an audience. The best part of this movie is actually the ending. Not because it was, over, but because it's where all of the action is. Like the last 15 minutes is really pretty interesting and fun and exciting, and you can see what's going on instead of people telling you what's going on. The worst for me is definitely the pacing. I really wish this movie had better pacing. I wish the editing and the dialogue was better. I would have loved it if they had less characters so you could really care about what's happening to the main characters. And I also wish that there was more information about the outsider and the alien culture that created it. The ending was pretty badly edited, but as I said, it was the best part of the movie because it had all of the action. In summary, oh my god, I really do love a lot of the old sci-fi movies, but this one is not one I would recommend for people looking for good examples of old sci-fi movies. And the problem with this movie is not the special effects or the technical problems that you would have with a low-budget movie, and even the dubbing. Even though it's distracting and it takes away from the performances, it's not the thing that really makes this a movie that I wouldn't recommend. But how this story is told is really hurts it a lot. And that sums up my review. I hope you liked it, and please be sure to subscribe to this channel. I'll be posting many more reviews, and let's keep this discussion going. Leave your rating for the movie and why in the comments section. Take care, movie lovers, and off to my next review!